Hello and welcome back everyone to Dead Dilettante. I will take my Chaos damage Chronomancer out for another spin, probably one of the last ones, because I want to take him into a testing area where I just will try different kind of builds and variants of what we can manage to do. This has been one of my favorite things to play just because it is very unique and no one else has been playing anything like it. Also, it's always funny to see how fast the poison damage spreads to everything around here. You can see it is quite insane. The Hex Blast deals a lot of damage, so that is probably... the Hex Blast I think has been utilized by some Bloodmage builds as well, which are quite nice. Bloodmage also a class which I like a lot, and I have not seen that much. It comes with a few downsides you have to play around with, but yeah. All in all, I want to make a few predictions about the new season, the Dawn of the Hunt, and of course we're gonna get probably a new class, which is gonna be the Huntress. There's gonna be nice spear, maybe throwing actions, and also spear and shield, so maybe similar to one or two other builds that can actually utilize the shield quite well. And but she will probably also be able to use the Heralds, Herald of Thunder, Herald of Storm. These, I believe, might get in for a little of a nerf, I think, because they're just extremely strong, and the meta seems to be like all around these builds. If you're not going for an auto bomber already, then the Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder interaction really seems kind of broken compared to everything else. But yeah, so what else? What would be my predictions about the classes in Dawn of Hunt and maybe the, I don't know, second league or the first real league of Path of Exile 2. So of course everyone and their grandma has been playing Spark Archmage, and Spark Archmage has been one of the best interactions and synergetic builds out there. You can start off playing it from the beginning and basically never stop playing it. It never falls short. It's an amazing build. You kill stuff that's outside of the screen most of the time because the sparks just fly really fast, really good outside of the screen sometimes, and it kind of depends on how you build it. You can build it in many different ways. You can take the lightning damage and make it cold, make it fire, make it I don't know what's more possible. You can make a bow and quiver and use the projectile damage and speed increases, so there's a lot of flexibility with the build as well. And I think it's just it's an insane interaction also with the Archmage. It's just extremely strong, and I think it will continue to be there in this or a very similar form. I could see that they actually nerfed the Archmage a little bit, because that seems very strong compared to a lot of other stuff. But we will see. So I believe Archmage could be nerfed a little bit. There could be nerfs to the Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder. And then I believe they will nerf the auto bombers a little bit, because they are very cheap to get and extremely strong compared to everything else. So my auto bomber costs like 1 or 2 divines and deletes everything. It's so easy to play, and I mean, compared to my really fancy setup here, where it took me ages to set this up and I put really lots of effort into it, the auto bomber was just like buy 2-3 items, 3 skill, and it works perfect. So this is why I think they will nerf the auto bomber, because it's just it's too fast, too good, and with the Temporalis, obviously that effort should be rewarded with a nice build, but being able to like auto bomb everything without a Temporalis or an item that is equally expensive kind of seems weird, to be honest. Those would be my expectations and nerfs. So my initial ideas. So what else could be strong in the next season? So I believe like the Bloodmage could also make a big comeback, because it's just, I see it quite rarely, and it has a very nice bonus to the to especially like the crit chance of spells. So this is something that always is very useful, and otherwise you have to effort and put quite an effort into getting your crit chance up. So I think the Bloodmage might be quite nice to actually play. Probably also in the next season. I played it a little bit in this season with the Detonate Dead Bloodmage, which synergizes really well because Detonate Dead can be on a very low level, so it doesn't have high costs. And these costs you lose as life, so this is the only downside to it. But yeah, if you can manage that, or if you just trigger spells, then that also is not costing you life, so this is actually quite good for all the spells. Yeah, I kind of fucked up that breach there, but yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, if you use triggered spells on the Blood Mage, that's also really, really strong. And so that means for auto bombers, also the Blood Mage is really a good class to actually use. And what else? So I believe, like, I have very little experience with the Ranger and the Gambling. For example, the Gambling, I think is gonna stay as it is at the moment, because it's just it is a very strong class, but it doesn't really use its own skills mostly. So if at all, they will probably nerf the other builds a little bit and not the Gambling. Might be the Gambling. I mean, the Gambling is just very, very late game kind of build that becomes very strong in the end, but you need a lot of equipment for it to be actually getting that strong. So I kind of feel it's the effort that puts it in there that makes it so strong. So I don't think they will nerf it for now, but I could also, maybe they will reduce the effectiveness of some of the synergies there. And apart from that, so I think the Gambling will continue to be there, the Spark Archmage will continue to be there. We will probably see the Ranger builds as well that have been very strong continue to be there. Nothing over the top there. And the Monks, I feel like they might get nerfed just because it's a really, really strong kind of over the top. Okay, I might need my minions here. Put them out. There we go. Yeah, and what else? So Sorcerer's Witch. The Warrior is kind of, I mean, not in a great spot, I guess, especially in the end game. It's kind of lackluster. But before the end game, he's actually one of the strongest classes, as we saw in the races. Like, all the other classes had a really tough time actually beating the time from the Warrior. So the Warrior might get some new things for the late game, not really sure about that. And the Huntress, yeah, it's going to be new, so a lot of people will play it. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be a super good idea playing a Huntress yourself, just as there's going to be a lot playing the Hunter and Huntress. So it might be hard to get like a cheap gear for her, but yeah, you have to decide for yourself if you're going to be interested in playing her. I will probably check her out at least and give it a try. Play the first 3 acts with it at least and see how it feels. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any predictions yourself, let me know in the channel. Give me a like on the vid and a follow if you want to see how I experiment with this character in the future. I will upload a few videos in the next days with probably slow auras and also maybe shotgun cold builds. We will see. So thank you guys for tuning in and have a nice gaming session. See you soon.